Hello and welcome. I'm Miss Christine and this is my online lesson. Today we will be discussing breath support, so stay tuned. Okay, one common element to all good singing, I don't care if you're an amateur or professional, is consistent breath support. So I know when we talk about breathing as human beings, we do it naturally, otherwise we wouldn't be alive. But when we're talking about breathing for the singer, it's not always easy to internalize. So today I want to talk a little bit about some tools that will help you become the best singer you possibly can be. Now, be patient with yourself. It's not going to seem like anything is happening miraculously, but I promise you, if you take the time and practice, you will see results. So let's get to it. Now, here's today's objectives. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to improve your mental focus, and we will dive into what I mean about your mental focus, making sure you have a set time for practice, not distracted by your friends or family, but this is your singing time. We will also talk about understanding the breathing process and adjust your breathing so that you can enhance your singing, as well as optimize hydration for vocal health, the importance of drinking plenty of fluids, water, understanding how caffeine, alcohol, environment, and your medicine affects your voice. Okay, so these are some of the points that we're going to discuss in today's lesson. Now, let's talk about mental focus. It's really important that when you get ready to sing, you set up a regimen. I'm going to practice on this day, at this time, in this space. So right now, I want you to mentally either get your mind prepared or physically go into your singing space so that you can start to work on these breathing exercises that I'm going to show you. Okay, so I want you to find a space. Make sure you're standing up and hopefully have a full length mirror in front of you. And find a space that you feel comfortable to freely sing. This is going into that mental focus, setting a date and a time for your singing practice, an area that you can sing freely and not have any distraction. All right, and so before you get ready to sing, it's a good idea to just bring your arms up above your head and bring them back down, and just find a sense of relaxation and circle those shoulders, getting your mind ready for singing. And without talking about any technical kind of way to breathe, I just want you to just take a deep breath in and exhale out. All right, it doesn't matter if you're getting movement. What we want to do is relax the body. So just breathe in naturally like you would and exhale out. Now, the kind of singing that or the kind of breathing that I'm going to talk to you about is the diaphragmatic breathing, okay? And so that's using everything in the midsection, okay, where we get the expansion of the rib cage. So if you put your hand on your mid area, okay, and we really want to kind of get right all in this middle. It's not most flattering for some, but this is the area that we want to work, okay? And I just want you to take a nice deep breath in and hiss out. Good. One more time in and hiss out. Now notice that I'm not having a shallow breath. I don't want to, have my shoulders going up and down and my chest moving. I really just want to work the midsection, okay? So just remember, we don't want high chest motion, okay? We don't want our chest going up and down or breathing in. Okay, all right, we don't want that. That's the least effective breathing for singing because it gives you the least amount of control for your exhale. Okay, what you want to do when you inhale, you want your stomach muscles and your ribs to move out, okay, so that your lungs can fill up with air. Okay, so I hope you understand why it's important that we don't want this shallow breath, okay? It puts tension on the throat, tension on the shoulders, tension on the neck. And of course, you're going to hear me say over and over, you don't want tension, which is why mental focus is so important, that you relax your body and your mind, turn off the idea of who's texting, what's happening on social media, because you really need to be focused on what you're doing in terms of your singing. Now, I would like you to try this exercise with me where we're going to breathe in for 1 count and exhale for a count of 16, okay? And it's a good way to just get you conscious, more conscientious of your diaphragmatic breathing, okay? So let's just practice doing that, get ourselves mentally ready, and we're going to breathe in. And of course, we're also going to hiss out like a snake, hiss out like a snake for 16 counts, okay? So let's give it a try and just relax your body. Try to turn your thoughts off. I know that's not easy because we're always constantly thinking, but if you could just try to relax and just focus on the kind of breathing that we need as singers, okay? So let's do it. Here we go. Breathe in. Good. One more time. In through your nose. Good. One more time. All right. So now that you have a good idea of the importance of relaxing the body, being in the mental state of singing, breathing in for 1 count, exhaling for 16 counts, understanding that you have to work that midsection, that feeling that expansion, okay, the rib cage expansion that we discussed. Now we're going to take those techniques and apply it to a singing exercise so that you can understand how it all relates, okay? Now, before we get started singing the exercise, I want to kind of go over a little checklist. When you sing this exercise, which will help you with your resonance and placement, your belly should expand outward away from the spine when you breathe in. And that's kind of why we did the exercise in for 1, out for 16, so that you understand what you should be doing physically. But now when you exhale, you want to sing the exercise that I'm going to show you. Your belly should contract slightly as you sing, so you don't want a harsh, like you're doing any kind of serious abdominal muscle strengthening. You want a slight contraction. Your throat should feel relaxed, and you want to sing at a nice medium level. Okay, now you're going to notice that you're going to see a symbol that we call a breath mark. Don't get alarmed. It's just there to let you know as a singer, this is where you should take your breath. And a lot of singers aren't familiar with this type of marking that you see in written notation. So I want to bring it to your attention, okay? Okay, so now that you understand all these wonderful techniques, now we're going to apply it to this exercise. So just remember, take your breath. All right, watch your breathing. All right, make sure you have a nice deep breath that you're taking in. When you exhale, that's when you're going to sing. And the exercise is ma, 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 me, 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 na, 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 ni, 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 ni. Okay, and I'll try to put it in the description so that you have it. All right. So we have Nee, 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 nee. Well, we have ma. Ma, 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 ma. Nee, 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 nee. Nay, 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 nay. Nee, 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 nee. Now that you understand the arrangement of the exercise, now it's your turn to stand on your feet, stand in front of that mirror, and we're going to work on all these techniques that we talked about. Get your body relaxed, get your mind ready to sing, and we're going to go through the exercise and you can sing right along with this video. All right, let's do it. Here's our exercise. You can see it on your screen. And I want you to really just take your time and think about all the techniques that we talked about, all right? So just sing along with the video. Here we go. Get ready. Take your breath. Ma, 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 ma. Breathe. Me, 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 me. Breathe. Na, 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 na. Breathe. Me, 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 me. Your breath. Ma, 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 ma. Breathe. Me, 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 me. Your breath. Na, 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 na. Good job. Me, 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 me. Keep going. Ma, 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 ma. Me, 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 me. Na, 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 na. Nee, 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 nee. Breathe. Ma, 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 ma. Me, 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 me. Na, 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 na. Your breath. Nee, 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 nee. All right, good job. So caffeine and alcohol will pull water out of our system and deplete the vocal folds from lubrication, which is why you'll hear me say over and over, drink plenty of water, hydrate. In fact, it's a good idea to drink plenty of water before your performance or before you practice so that the body has a chance to absorb all those fluids and absorb the fluids, and then you're well lubricated for your performance or your practice session. Caffeinated drinks like coffee, tea, fortified vitamin water that we like to say, oh, it's energy water, it's going to give me energy. They're all going to dry you right out. There's really no real substitute for water, pure water. Okay, wine, beer, hard liquor definitely will dry you out. So you want to try to consume small amounts of these types of beverages, and it's easier to sort of counterbalance. In other words, if you're going to drink alcohol or caffeinated beverages, try to counter it with more water in your system so that you're not so dried out. All right. And the next thing I want to talk about is non-caffeinated beverages. So sometimes we feel, well, I'm drinking decaffeinated coffee or tea, and yes, that hydrates your body, but it's no real substitute for pure water. And when I say water, that means water without any adjectives, okay? So those are some tips to keep in the forefront of your mind when you're thinking about performing or practicing or just overall good health. Another factor that can affect hydration is a dry environment. So let's talk about the environment and how it can affect your voice. So things like gas, oil, or electric furnaces can certainly affect the voice. The summer weather, the air conditioners that run in our car, in our homes, if there's a lot of low moisture in the air, these will certainly affect our voice. Just as important, it may be helpful to have a humidifier in your bedroom while you're sleeping to compensate for such dryness that comes in the environment. And we just kind of so used to this happening that we don't think how it affects the voice. But by all means, if you're feeling really dry at times in a particular season, well, you already know the environment. Also, if you're going to be flying and you're going to be on the airplane, it's extremely dry in the airplane, and it is recommended that you try to consume a lot of water, at least 8 ounces of water before and after your flight. So these are some more tips and tricks to help you stay hydrated and be aware of your environment so that you can be a healthy, happy singer. Let's talk about medication and how it also affects the voice, okay? So by no means am I saying stop taking your medicine because it's going to affect your voice. Yes, it affects your voice, but you should never stop taking prescription medication without talking to a doctor. So I just want to put that out there. Things like antihistamine and cold medications will excessively dry you out. They do help when you're having a cold or you have allergies, but they will dry your voice out, which is why it's so important that you keep yourself hydrated. If you have asthma and you have to use an inhaler, it will irritate your throat, as well as other necessary medication that people use for asthma. Antidepressants are also known to dry out the voice, but again, the benefits outweigh the side effects. So it's important that we keep ourselves healthy, physically as well as vocally. What I'm sharing with you are tips and tricks to help you become a more well-rounded and well-educated singer, so that you can know some of these effects as you're going through. Thank you so much. I hope you found this video informative. Just remember that mental focus is so important. Find that time to focus on you and your singing. Set that practice time and put your best foot forward. I believe in you. Of course, we talked about breathing. Remember, practice those breathing exercises that we discussed. Take your breath in, hold it for 1 count, and exhale for 16 counts. Just take your time, you'll get it. And of course, don't forget about our resonance and placement exercise that we worked on. Ma, 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 me, 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 na, 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 na. You know the rest. Of course, we talked about the importance of hydration. So even though we know caffeine and alcohol dries the voice out, make sure you do everything in moderation. Balance it all out with enough fluids, water, and you'll be just fine. Of course, be cognizant of those gas, oil, and electric furnace. Don't forget about the air conditioners and the low amounts of moisture in the air. Of course, we talked a little bit about the airplane and how it dries the system out. And of course, again, the medication that we take, it's so important that we stay on top of our medication, but of course, keep your body nice and hydrated as you do all these things. Thanks so much. And